Alright, so to find where the UI system is, we have to go to the game mode where the code is for the UI system. So if you go to content drawer and go to the content folder, there is a Gummy UI folder. Here is all the UI stuff that I added. And the game mode is in Gummy classes, and it's called Gummy Persistent Level Game. This holds all the code for the UI system. I implemented this game mode in the level, in the master level, and you find that by going to the levels folder and then going to the master level and opening that up. So if I press run here, through this list of world blueprints, I put the game mode here. So if you press run, you'll see that there's some UI. You can traverse this UI with a gamepad or just a mouse. So settings, play, single player, multiplayer. If you press single player, it will load, and then you can actually play the game where there's some more UI there. And everything's set up with placeholders. And if you press tab in this in the play screen, you can pause and go back to the title screen. So there's a lot of screens here already made. So now I'm going to explain how to change those screens. So for example, if you want to change like the start screen, this is how you do it. So you go into the game mode. Actually, first I'm gonna just show you where the assets are. So we have two widgets here, two widget blueprints. One for the button. I'm gonna open that. Gummy button widget, and the other for just general widgets. Or this is the main widget. So in Gummy UI widget, you can find how to spawn in or where to set the widgets. So in Gummy UI widget, there in the event graph you won't see much because everything is inside functions. Where the widget function is this one, initialize widget. So you open that, and here you get all this spaghetti nodes. But this is what you see here on this switch is enums. So these enums are basically like names for the screens. So start background. This is telling me that, okay, this widget right here, when we construct this widget, it's going to be on the start, and it's going to be the background of the start screen. And that's the same for all these others, and also for the buttons. So the buttons and these widgets are separate. So to customize these, like for example, the start background, you can just make any widget you want. So for example, this placeholder is placeholder start background. If I search that up, right here you see it's just a widget blueprint. And when I open it, it's just a widget with just random stuff inside. So you can add any widget through this construct widget node, and then all you do is connect it to the specific point of time that you want. So if you want to, let's say, put your widget in the play screen as the HUD, then you connect it to here. And then I named them so it's a little clear. So now I'm going to show you where to find the buttons and to edit them. So to find that, you go into Gummy UI, Gummy classes, and then the Gummy button widget. So you go into graph mode, and what you should see here is the event graph. Again, it's empty because we're doing everything inside functions. Now the function you want to find is button type construct. And this is what you'll see. So if you zoom in, there's a lot. There's a lot of things. And that's because right here with the switch, I am making every button this way. So for example, the play button has its own style and I set it here. Same for every other button. The name kind of tells you where it is and what the function of it is. So the play button is going to show up in the play screen and it's going to take you to like the player select screen, right? And so if you will actually want to edit these, the easiest way is to right click on this node, on any of these nodes, and then you want to choose jump to connection and then jump to button construct. So by doing that, it focuses you on the actual button style right here. So this is a function I made that mostly goes over all like the customizable options of a button. How we determine the position of the button, that's based on this Gummy UI widget, not here. But you can kind of change the size and stuff. You can choose the image if you want to use the image, draw type, the color of the text, or if you want to have text or not. If you don't want to have text, you just disconnect this by right clicking and then pressing break this link, and it would just be empty. You can choose the color, outline color, all that. So yeah, so that's there for every single button. So every single button has a unique, or can have a unique style. So there we go. And then if you want to go back, you can jump to connection from there and look at the other buttons. So now I'm going to go over how to actually add stuff to a specific screen. So to do that, you go to the game mode, and then you start here at the begin play, and then you go all the way down. Well, actually, instead of doing that, in the left there's the event graph, and then you can choose the events. So this whole screen system is based on events. And so if I click like change screen, it will focus right on where I need to be. And here we have three things. We have main screen functions, and then we have subscreen functions. Oh, I wrote that wrong. And then we have, oh, wait, this one. Up in the top, we have button functions. So before I even like look at this, I want to describe the main point of this whole system here. And that is, it's basically a state machine, if you ever heard of that. So what a state machine is let's say we have the play screen right here. From the play screen, we can either go to options, or we can go to character select. And then you can go back and forth from character select to the play screen, from options to the play screen, right? And that's what I'm doing with this node setup. So each screen it's basically a state. So when you're in play screen, you're in the play screen state. And when you're in options, you're in the options state. The easiest way to go through this code, go through these states, is by following a path. Because that's how it works. It's just all of these switches right here, start screen and then sub screen, they're all connected somehow. And that's through like a timeline, basically, a path like this. So from characters select, you go to the actual like game screen. I meant to name this start. From game, you can go to options or vice versa. And then you can go back to start. So they're all somehow connected. So now I'm gonna show like some functions that kind of make this easier that I made. So let's say, for example, I wanna know where this start screen, oh, that font is messed up, but where this start screen background shows up. So if I think about the timeline, I know that at first when the game loads up, we are in the start screen. So I'm gonna see where that actually happens, and it should happen at begin play. So it all starts from begin play. So right here we like create some stuff, we create the UI, and then here we have the change screen. This is what leads us to the start screen. So on any function, you can double click it, and it will throw you there. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, at this point, based on what this told me, this parameter, we're at begin play, we're going to start screen. So I'm going to follow the path. So here we check what screen we are in. We are in start screen. So in start screen, we initialize screen UI, and then we change the subscreen to subscreen 1. So whenever you see initialize screen UI and we take the Gummy UI reference, that means we're either spawning in UI or we are deleting UI. And we can do this also with inside here with objects. So right here we have an array. We have this array actors to destroy. I linked this array to like a destroy function. So basically any actor you make, you would put it in here. And then at some point you would destroy it. So anything you spawn inside these screens at some point is going to get destroyed, because that's how I handle like changing screen and like deciding what buttons are on the screen and stuff like that. I just destroyed them. I just straight up removed them. So when I go to initialize screen UI, I will see what happens, what UI we basically spawn in at the start screen. And when you do that, you'll see the same thing. I did it this way because I just wanted one function that can take in the screen state and then do whatever. So when you go into initialize screen UI and stuff like that, you'll basically see the same thing you see here. Just that it's in the Gummy UI widget. So in the start screen, we destroy widgets and then we initialize the start background. So there we go. There's the start background. And yeah, and that's all that's happening when we spawn it in. So we're just spawning in the type of start background. So whatever start background is set to, that's what's going to show up at this time at the start screen. So like, and then here start background is set to placeholder start. So that's what shows up in the start background. And also here I see we take in the storage. So these objects, just like what I described before, with these actors to destroy, these objects will be destroyed at some point. So I just put them in an array so that you can spawn in whatever you want. And at some point, we do destroy widgets, or just it clears the entire array. So we don't have to individually destroy each thing you make. As long as you add it to the array, you're good. And in these screens, initialize screen, and then also initialize subscreen UI. These are the screens for the UI, but also this is where we place the objects on the screen themselves. So you see this main scale box, that is a reference. If I switch to designer mode here in this Gummy UI widget, we have a bunch of pre-made and pre-placed skill boxes and vertical boxes and stuff. This basically determines the position of the UI and where it's going to be in the screen. And we place the UI by giving this function a reference to one of those boxes. So main skill box is this one right here. So it's this whole screen right here. That's what main skill box is. And then there's a sub skill box that looks very similar. But the main difference is the Z order. So the main skill box is at 0. That means it will render behind everything. And then the sub skill box is 1. So it will render in front of this main skill box. So I say background here. I say start background because I'm literally putting it in the background. Of course, I can, for all of this, I can add more stuff to give you more options, but that's what's there right now. So I do this same like procedure with all the other objects. So I destroy the widgets to make sure that there's nothing there, and then I spawning something in. So I make a clean canvas basically, and then I put in stuff in the canvas. And that's the start screen. And then there's play screen and loading screen. So if you notice, like by looking at this, you don't actually know when this stuff will happen unless you look at the path. So to ever find something, you gotta go to the game mode and then see at what point do we actually change screen. That happens a lot in these button functions. So what is these button functions? Well, as you can see, we have the same enums as when we were looking at the right here at the styles. We have the same enums, play, music, etc. So these are the buttons and these are their functions. This is how I give each button a functionality. So this event just checks if a button was ever pressed, and then whatever button is pressed will return a type, and then we can choose here what the button will actually do. So for example, the play screen, when we press the play button, we go to subscreen 3, and at the play screen, right, the play button is in the play screen. So I go here and then I jump to connection. I go to play screen and I see, okay, what is subscreen 3? Where does that lead to? Oh, it leads to this, which then I have to do the same thing because that's how I program it specifically for the UI. I go to play screen again and it's subscreen 3 and then the play screen, and here I see, okay, I'm initializing buttons, I'm binding them, destroy widgets, and then I make a background here, and I set control input mode. So here I'm to show you how the buttons are made. You basically, there's two arrays. Here is the buttons and by type. So I want to make a music button, back button, and a general button. This array, you align the indexes, so 0 with 0. And this is the position of the button on the screen. So this says left, right? That means I'm going to use the left vertical box. I'm going to place the button on the left vertical box. And then same for middle. The middle button will go here and etc. So you can change this to whatever you want. So at this point, I'm putting music button on the right vertical box and general button on the same right vertical box. So they'll be layered together by that point. And to tell you what that looks like, we have this function at the end here. We choose if we want to go left, middle, or right. So again, I could just add more vertical boxes. Add that to this enum. And these are also separate enums. So like button type enum, as you can see there, it's called Gummy button type enum. And then here's a Gummy button side enum. So I could just add more directions, and then by doing that, I'll give you more options. So you can always add some more places, which we probably will need. That's how you make the buttons. Like reiterating what I just said, to find where screen is, you just look at the path from the game mode, and then you just follow it from there. And anything that's spawned inside this like system, at some point you have to delete, because that's the plan. Every screen is temporary. So yeah, hopefully that kind of covers everything.